we're gonna clap into the microphone.
What if we snap?
Nope. You'll clap. So it is very loud. Okay, we'll do it at 30. Okay. 18.
Are you sure you don't want to?
Wait,
are you sure
wait,
you don't
30
wanna...
here or 30 in LA?
It's the
It doesn't
same
matter.
actually.
30 seconds.
Oh, it is?
18:30.
Oh.
All right.
I
Did
think
you
I
guys
did
do it?
I think I did it. There's also a spike on my
did
on my
it? Did
thing.
you clap or not?
I did. I
There's a spike on
definitely did it.
Audacity,
There's
yeah.
a spike on the Audacity, so I think it's fine. Are you sure you don't
Okay.
want to include this whole segment in the podcast? Because this is like really good banter, I think.
Yeah. I'll add. Yeah. Sure.
Clocks
That'll-
are scary.
Okay. What was your cold
Yeah.
open?
Okay.
Patrick?
So you guys, I do actually have a bit of a confession I have to make.
Uh-huh.
So without saying its name, because Nirav hates it, and I don't want to endure his wrath.
I have a long. I don't want to talk about. Okay, go on.
Yeah, there's a thing, a game in our Discord server that Nirav does not like, where a bunch of anime characters from things pop up, and unfortunately, something I did not take into account is that A Court of Thorn and Roses is in this, and I think I was inadvertently spoiled on a character thing from that.
Oh
Without
my god.
a character popped up, and I said, "Huh, that name is familiar. Why does the character look like that?" And Alexis says, "Oops, spoilers." So I won't
Okay.
say anything beyond that, and I don't think it's a huge spoiler, but I have an inkling
So
of.
now,
character
now you
thing
know about Tamlin's big lizard tail.
Ah,
Okay.
shit! How did you know?
Yeah.
Well, actually, there is a certain tale that Tamlin has that I've heard a lot about.
is
Gracious.
this anime?
It's with anime. I don't know if it doesn't fit into anime or game. I think the thing just puts it into whatever category it wants.
Oh,
Books are in
okay.
there. Jared Leto's probably in there.
Just him as an actor, not one of the characters he plays.
All of the above, probably.
He just
Wow.
plays Jared Leto.
Yeah. And for our
Okay.
audience, we were talking about Jared Leto before this podcast. He wasn't just
Yeah.
on my mind. I feel like I need to defend myself a little bit.
I'd argue that in a lot of his movies, he doesn't even like get to the point of playing Jared Leto. He seems less interested than that.
And
That's-
Patrick Lyon, all he talks about is Jared Leto. It's actually kind of
We
a
were
problem.
talking about the fact that like it seems like everyone hates him, and yet he keeps getting work, which means that his uncle is like a producer or something. Like
That's
that's gotta
probably
be
what it
the
is.
case
That
is.
explains it. His uncle works at Nintendo.
Yeah.
His uncle's John Nintendo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
he
they were
always-
like, that's why they didn't want to tell you who the new voice of Mario was. It's Jared Leto.
Can you imagine?
Oh my god, I would go broke watching that movie.
Oh no, this is I'm in for the games, but like also the movie would be like if I could go back in time and I was able to I found myself in a room with Mr. Miyamoto and I was like, "Sir, please listen. I've got a very funny idea."
Because, like, for real, what cursed option would you pick? Chris Pratt or Jared Leto? Jared Leto, I think, easy.
That one's like such a funnier pick. It's like it's not boring, you know. It's
Yeah.
and like I'll be honest, like I don't have any huge problem with Chris Pratt as Mario. He sounded like Chris Pratt.
He sounded
So,
fine.
like,
It was
he sounded
fine.
fine. He did not.
Yeah.
He did not give a bad performance.
Honestly, I think what's his name is Donkey Kong was more distracting.
Seth Rogen. Well, he
Seth
just was
Rogen is
again
Donkey.
just using his regular voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I was
I
like,
mean,
oh, it's Seth Rogen.
I
know,
did.
yeah.
I did appreciate that they had him do the like laugh though.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Anyways, this is a very long cold open.
Well, I just
Yeah.
want to say, on the topic of revisionist casting, I would like to swap Jared Leto and The Rock's, like, just roles. I would like to see just
All of
Jared
them?
Leto-
across the
all of
board,
them.
everything.
Across the
Oh
board,
my gosh!
everything.
So Jared Leto's in Fast and Furious. He's playing Black Adam, which is way more problematic.
Do you know how good that movie would be, though? Do you know how fucking amazing that movie would be?
we have a little bit of like a fucking Egyptian gods or whatever that Ridley Scott movie was going on, where like all of the ancient Egyptian gods are played by white guys.
So Jared Leto's in Jumanji as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That could be good. Oh, he's in Moana. No, that's fun. And then what is The Rock doing? I guess more.
The Rock is in Morbius, then.
Never mind. This is such a good idea.
I told you.
Okay,
Oh,
we actually need to intro this
Shit.
podcast.
Yeah, I forgot there's a book we got to talk about.
No, I like that. This is giving us energy because we need to like slog through the first two of these chapters. Because then at the end some stuff happens, which is crazy. I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
Um,
Should we say our names?
No. All right.
Okay.
So let's get started.
I'm Jared Leto.
And I'm
Dude,
The Rock Johnson.
And I'm just some guy with we've got a huge cast swap out today. Special guests.
Sorry, I don't understand. What are you?
I'm just Patrick. I'm literally just myself. But then I'm here with two huge special guests, The Rock and Jared Leto.
I was about to start trying to do like an impression of The Rock.
No,
but, like,
bad
he doesn't
idea.
really sound like anything.
No, no. Let's not bring us down.
Yeah. Anyway, I am Nirov, though. I am the host. And this is a Court of Bros and Broses. This is a podcast in which three straight men are making their way through Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses, one chapter at a time, and maybe learn something along the way. I am joined as always by my co-hosts, which are Joe and Patrick. Say hello, guys.
Hello, guys.
All right.
Hello.
In other podcasts, when the host is like, say hello, the other people will usually come in with like maybe a quip or maybe a whole sentence.
Let me just Google quips real
just
quick.
To like sort of establish what their personality is for the remainder of the show, you know?
Here's a Reddit post that says, any funny quips for customers to use.
Okay.
None of this is helpful. This is the worst cheese we sell. This is what someone said. This is the worst cheese we sell. So that's my quip now.
I don't want people to think we're selling bad cheese. We're trying to sell good podcasts. Okay, I gotta keep my hand off this fucking... Okay, here we go. So, we are going to be diving into chapters 12 through 15, I believe, today. And we are going to be starting with chapter 12, of course, where we have been... Okay, if you are just tuning in and haven't checked out the previous episodes, I would say that, like, our review of this so far is, like, all of us are, like, not so hot on it. Not that we hate it.
I think it's fine. I think it's like it's passable fantasy. I'm enjoying it just fine. Like, if we weren't recording the podcast, I would keep listening to it, but I'm not like jazzed about it.
I think now I've gotten deep in enough that like if we weren't doing a podcast for it, I would continue through and finish it. I think the first 5 or 6 chapters like didn't do really enough to hook me, but like I'm starting to get into it. So regardless,
it's a pretty long build up.
Yeah, there's a lot of time before anything like really starts to happen, I guess. But anyway, so we are joining our favorite character, Feyre, and she has been voted, I think, by us the best character in the book. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I actually told you all independently that I think it was chapter 16. I had to stop and take a break because Feyre irritated me so much.
Chapter 16.
I had to actually
now, did you read ahead?
Did you read ahead?
Chapter 16?
Sorry, I'm looking at the Spark Notes. Whatever the second chapter of this block.
13, I think was the next block.
I like had to put my head in my hands and just like take a deep breath and then hit play again.
What part was it? Because I feel like I had a similar reaction.
We're jumping ahead slightly, but it was the part where Tamlin says, "Hey, I can help you write to your family," and she's like,
"Oh,
what a fucking dick!"
Yes,
like, what is wrong with you?
Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I know, but I legitimately had to stop listening to the book. I had to like take a lap, and I had to convince myself that like, no, you have agreed to do this podcast with 2 other people. You have to finish this chapter, and then I was like, oh, the rest of this was fine. But I had to remind myself that there was an obligation.
You piece of shit! Where do you get off? It's like okay, all right.
So we have reached the library arc of beating the beast finally.
Yeah, I noticed, and we're gonna get attacked by wolves later. So hold on to that. So yeah, we are exploring the library. So Feyre's heading around the house. She's trying to make a map. Since she can't, and she reveals to us, the readers, that she cannot read or write. Which means that she is basically like. Okay, this is something I wanted to establish again. So, how long ago was it that her family was like ousted from their mansion and lost their fortune?
I don't actually know if it's like 10 years or something like that.
So not long enough to excuse her for not knowing how to read or write.
Well, she does explain the fact that her mom, it came time for her mom to teach her how to read and write, and her mom was like, nah. And then they lost their fortune and they just didn't do it. So her older sisters can read and write, I think.
Okay, I might have missed that.
And her older sisters said, no, these peasant schools are beneath us. We're not going to send you to them, but also we're not going to teach you how to read either.
Sisters,
so,
real cool people. Real cool people. Just a reminder that our sisters fucking suck.
Those sisters are the same people that are voting for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Gross.
No, they would probably vote for Laura Loomer.
Yeah.
So
exciting.
after the Beast, I mean, what's his name, finds out about this.
Tamlin.
Tamlin. That wasn't a bit, by the way. I actually genuinely keep forgetting Tamlin's name, even when talking about this book with Alexa.
I almost called him Tamriel or something, which I'm pretty sure is from Skyrim.
It's from Skyrim,
right? It's definitely from Skyrim, yeah. So I'm actually driving in a car.
Tamlin Unlimited. The Elder Scrolls Online Tamlin Unlimited. We got our episode name.
I was driving in the car with Alexa when this part happened, and I was like, I said to her, I was like, oh, is he about to show her the library? And she's like, no, it's not really the library. And then like 2 minutes later, Farrah calls it a library. I'm like, okay, it's a fucking library.
It's more just a large room that's a collection of books that are cataloged.
Which, oh my god, also, did none of you consciously think this at the time? This is in the same language that humans speak. All of these books that fairies use are in the same language as the humans use. Because she recognizes the lettering.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I guess everyone in the world speaks one language.
Well, maybe it's just everybody on this continent speaks one language, right? Because it's like... Although based on how the book has gone so far, I bet we were not going to be running into other languages in this.
But even in future books, I would bet money that we are going to not have any language barriers in future books.
I wonder if there's like an old fairy script or something like that like even the fairies don't use anymore because it's like so old or whatever.
I'm just gonna say it's gonna be fucking Latin. Knowing Sarah J. Maas, it's just gonna be Latin with like pig Latin thrown in to make it seem different.
Incendio? What is this?
It's just gonna be ripped from Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's just Harry Potter spells. But yeah, so Tamlin does make an appearance before that, and he shows up covered in blood and badly injured, and he announces that he has killed the Boge. And I was like, oh great, so that I'm glad that happened off screen instead of us getting to see that fight.
Oh, this is before the library, isn't it? You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's the wolf scene, and she bandages his wounds.
Right, correct, yeah. Okay, so yeah, he leads her to the like small infirmary, which is just basically a supply closet, and he like, nurses him back to health, or his arm at least. And they kind of talk here, and he's like,
I actually have the dialogue pulled up if you want. I'm going to read through it real quick. Yeah. So Tamlin says, that hurts. And Farrah says, if you held still, it wouldn't hurt so much. And he says, well, if you hadn't run away, none of this would have happened. And she says, well, if you hadn't frightened me, I wouldn't have run away. And then Tamlin says, well, you shouldn't have been in the West Wing. And then Farrah says, well, you should learn to control your temper. That's from Beauty and the Beast.
I feel like I lost 3 IQ points listening to that. Okay. Yes.
That was exact dialogue from Beauty and the Beast.
I think I might have been. Also, like...
No, I literally was reading dialogue from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, shit. Damn it.
I honestly thought that was from this book. Holy shit.
Why did I think it was not weird that you had dialogue from this book pulled up, like you weren't fucking planning something?
We got beasted.
Dude, I've been beasted. Are you kidding? You do not want to get beasted. That was bad. Unfortunately, I've turned into a candelabra because this has happened. Wow.
And I'm actually not very familiar with Beauty and the Beast, so I don't have a.
I think you'd be the clock, Cogsworth.
Should I be offended by that? Is that?
I don't know.
Cogsworth's all right.
No, I like him.
All right, I'm cool with just being just all right.
Sure. All right. Wow, that's awful. Okay, let's continue. So, they talk a little bit, and she talks about like not being able to read and write, etc. And then Farrah is like, all right, well, I'm gonna continue to be a sneaky weirdo. And so the next day she starts like sneaking around the house and overhears Tamlin and Lucian like fighting, or arguing, whatever. They're like saying, oh, the blight's getting worse. And Lucian's like, you gone soft, boy. He like pokes him in the chest, I assume is what's happening.
Yeah, probably exactly that.
Yeah, you gone soft, boy. I'm imagining for some reason now that he's being played by that guy from The Walking Dead. No, what's his name? He was also in Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
You done gone soft, boy.
Decent Michael Rooker.
Yeah. I think that'd be Lucian.
Okay.
So, yeah. So Feyre, anyway, is caught eavesdropping, and she's like, eavesdropping? What's that? Just like, I do appreciate that she even as she's like doing this, she's like, this is obviously not going to work. I'm very stupid. And I was like, yeah.
It was the first self-aware moment she has ever had in this book, and I was like, okay, there's like a redeeming quality to you, finally.
She's so bad at lying, but it's funny every time.
It is. I actually feel like it might be funnier if we were seeing this from someone else's perspective, though, like how bad at lying she is. Yeah, fucking, hey, Sarah, if you're listening, which I know you are, could you do a fucking Twilight Midnight Sun situation where you rewrite the entire first book from Tamlin's point of view?
What? Did
that
happen?
Do you not know about this? Yeah, there's
one
of the
thing?
Twilight books is called Midnight Sun, and she rewrote the entire first book from Edward's point of view.
What the fuck? How have I never heard this before?
They're turning it into an animated movie this year, too.
I feel like you're fucking with me right now. But I mean, I know you're
No,
not.
I'm
but like
absolutely not.
That sounds like a bit. Like, wow.
If the only thing that would make it better is if Jared Leto was in it, which I don't know if he is or isn't.
Oh, man. Don't get my hopes up.
Oh, my God. Make him Edward.
Well, no, I think you make him what's the other? Bella.
You make him Bella?
You make him
What's the
Bella.
other one? Bella?
Listen, I've seen Twilight the movie one time when it came out. I've seen nothing else from those books and movies.
It got reconfirmed a week ago because it was kind of in development hell.
Good, it should have been. I say that, but I'm actually a huge Twilight. Ironically, I have a huge Twilight.
No, you said unironically.
Fan.
No takesies, backsies.
Fine, they're the funniest movies like ever from a just pure comedy standpoint, and I am looking forward to this animated movie now.
No timeline. Oh, it's an animated series. Wow.
Wow.
They've not released any other info other than Stephanie Meyer is going to be an executive producer of the series for Netflix.
Okay, but this sounds serious, right? And the movies are extremely not serious.
Oh, they're serious.
Okay.
Oh no, it's serious business. That's why they play vampire baseball.
They're not supposed to be comedies.
I may have said this in a previous episode, but when I was at Dragon Con, I saw two different people separate from each other dressed as specifically Alice in the baseball scene of the first Twilight movie. Which I cannot believe I recognized. And then saw two of.
I mean, I've seen her GIFs enough. I feel like they might be
I think that's fun. I think that's what it is. Because it's been a minute since I've dipped in again, but I'm excited too. Okay, so anyway, she's caught eavesdropping. Feyre is like, oh, I was looking for Lucian to see if we could patrol today, and he's like, fuck off, dude. And so he's like, this is so weird to me, because he's like, well, Lucian's like, okay, no, I'll go around with Tamlin today, and she's like, oh, actually, I decided I don't want to go. Then leaves. But yeah, she and like Tamlin walk around the house together instead, and Tamlin's like, I know you took a knife, which will help you in no way, from the dinner table. And she's like, yes, I see. Which just kind of like, I guess it's taken some time for. I don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear the fucking?
We can hear the siren. Yeah, I was undecided if I should see something or not, but it's quite
If you
loud.
see something, say something.
No, that's how you be a snitch. Don't do that.
Okay, it's gone.
Great.
Okay, anyway, let's get through this part. So yeah, they like Feyre asks if like the Boge is coming back or if there's more horrible monsters out on the grounds. And Tamlin's like, yeah, like they're starting to break through. I can't stop them. He does that Doctor Strange thing. And so yeah, like we kind of go to the next part where the thing that made Joe very sad happens.
The library, because Joe hates books.
The library. Yeah, so we get to the library.
I can't read.
Interesting.
So then you and Feyre have a lot in common. You should actually love Feyre.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm also a terrible liar and a moron.
I don't know how to follow the joke up because you feel like I'm a terrible liar.
Do we just agree?
Yeah,
yeah,
just agree.
Yeah, Joe is a terrible liar and a moron. Let's move on.
Okay, so anyway, they go to the library. There's, I think in the middle of the library, if I recall, there is a sort of a glass structure, sort of a dome shape, bell shape thing on a rose inside floating around. And he's like, don't touch this. It's very important to me. And she's like, what is this? So I think that'll come into play later.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens with that rose.
That was my
actually, the rose
impression.
isn't... Gosh.
Okay. So
I totally forgot about that rose. I'm gonna be honest.
In Beauty and the Beast,
this whole chapter. I don't even talk about.
No,
the book
I'm
anymore.
doing
a
Beauty and the Beast thing.
I got beasted again.
I'm
God
beasted.
damn it! I got beasted again.
Joe got beasted. Careful, Joe.
Dude, you got beasted twice.
God, I'm getting fucking clowned on here.
Careful, Joe. If you get beasted a third time, it's fucking game over.
If you get beasted a third time, he appears.
I get turned into the beast myself.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's what happened to him. That's how it started.
I got beasted 3 times, and then thus the entire Beauty and the Beast happened.
God, the thing is, it works.
Okay. We need to do like a group watch of the Beauty and the Beast movie.
No, because I like my ignorance.
Okay.
See, now I'm distracted. Now I'm desperately trying to think of a third way to beast the Joe in this episode.
Dude, you can't. If you think about it too much, it's going to be obvious. You've got to let it be organic.
Yeah.
Okay, so they come to the library. Feyre's like, this isn't a library. It's just a room full of books that are like organized by title and author. And then she discovers a mural that tells her about the story of Prythian, and there's like the battle between the humans and the fairies, and then like how all the courts were established. So we do learn that we are in the Spring Court, and that there's 7 courts. So this is a little bit different from like D&D rules. There's some extra courts here. We have.
This is the same number of courts that exist. It's like the 7 kingdoms in Game of Thrones. My first thought was, 7 kingdoms, Game of Thrones. And then I was like, I guess there's also 7 continents in the real world. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of Game of Thrones. Yeah, it's probably not too much. So we have spring, summer, autumn, winter, of course, and then we have some extra boys: dawn, day, and night. You have no fucking idea how mad I was that one of them was not Twilight.
Wait, do we learn the names of the kingdoms right now from the books, or do we learn that later from the
No, it's
right now.
I think it's right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so then Tamlin's like, hey, I could help you write a letter to your family, and she's like, this fucking sucking.
She's like, no, fuck off immediately.
She's like, the audacity of this guy. How dare you offer to help me? And
also there's some serious negative self-talk where she's like, oh wow, like, me, some ignorant, stupid mortal. It's like, no, he was genuinely trying to be very nice to you after he like kidnapped you, but like
the law required him to kidnap you.
The prophecy said so.
Yeah. Okay, so then we learn about the Suriel, which is a specific kind of fairy who lives out in the wilderness.
I think we learned about the Suriel previously. I think Lucian told her about the Suriel when they went hunting.
Yeah, he does. I think. Oh, that may have been. Yeah, I know, but anyway, well, at some point, Lucian tells her about the Suriel, and that like he's like kind of he's like doing that, you know, kind of cool sly talking where he's like, well, I wouldn't tell you to go to this exact area in the woods to find them. That's not what
after the library she goes to his room to like try and get the information out of her, and he just tells her.
Right. Which I thought was fun. So yeah, I don't know, I kind of got a little bit confused here, and I think I was like maybe not paying as much attention as I should have, but like, why does Lucian just tell her all this stuff?
I honestly don't know why Lucian's generally so forthcoming with information with like for her. I mean, maybe he wants her to get killed. And
that's kind of what it almost seemed like, but I'm like, he doesn't seem like he wants her to get killed when they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
Well, I have a theory that Sarah J. Maas is what's it called? Not great at writing. And so she falls back on needless exposition when she doesn't know how to progress a plot, which is why she invented the Surreal, which is just an exposition robot.
It's crazy because it's like, I know a lot of stuff and I could tell it to you, but I'm going to give you like a map to go to the location where you can find the information yourself. It's like a thing of like getting a map to a map. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like in Star Wars.
Like I know I was thinking of Star Wars. I didn't want to say it. Damn it.
Okay. But yeah, it is interesting because like he's very cagey about telling her what to do, even though he's completely telling her what to do. But it's like, in what world would Tamlin know if he told her outright? Why is he being so cagey about this information?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, maybe Lucian has some like I'm guessing at this point he has some alternative motives here that like we are gonna find out about later.
Although I will say that without jumping ahead too much, the information she gets from the bad thing,
the
information she gets from the Surreal, basically the Surreal tells her like, you're never gonna escape. You're stuck here forever. Sorry. At least as far as that information goes, if she had heard that from anyone else in the castle, she would not have believed them. So maybe Lucian saw some benefit of like, hey, if you're not going to listen to us, maybe you'll listen to the Surreal. Like, because the Surreal literally has to give her all accurate, real information or whatever. So maybe he saw it as a benefit to have her be able to talk
doesn't
to
Lucian also have to do that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm confused about that because
he does. Well, the thing is like they're like withhold information. They just can't say an actual lie.
But they've been telling her, in theory, not actual lies this entire time. Like her family is safe, her family is cared for.
I know, and she's already and she's like,
no, I don't believe you.
She's recognized that, but then also said, I don't believe you.
So I don't know. I don't understand if she doesn't believe the no lie thing, or if that's just not clear. I don't know.
Okay. Well, it is like they can lie by omission, but the Serial can't. I think
the Serial.
The Serial. Like Serial can't lie. It spells out everything in the milk. So like it tells you what you want to know. Yeah.
I think maybe it's like bound to answer your questions rather than like not being able to just be like, nah.
And then as we find out, it just tells you shit you didn't even ask. It just keeps expositing.
It just keeps talking, which is crazy, which I liked a lot. I thought that was funny. All right, so she heads out into the woods and sets up a trap and catches the Surreal. And so this is I think it's something my wires got crossed because like I like sort of didn't know what the Surreal was or looked like, and then I just remember it being yellow and like having wings of some kind. So the entire time this scene was happening, in my head, it was just like a regular, like, cockatiel.
Wait, it has wings?
It flew away.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. How do you spell cereal? Cereal?
No, yeah. Go ahead and just type in the word cereal into Google and see what comes up. And then also tell me if there is a branded Court of Thorns and Roses cereal deal going on.
The first two cereals I see is, I don't know what this says about my Google search. One is Wednesday Addams Cookies and Cream cereal. The second one is Poop Like a Champion Highest Fiber cereal. I wish I was fucking joking right now.
Man, Now I gotta decide between that fucking Toriel thing or Poop Like a Champion for the title of the episode.
I'm sending you guys a screenshot because I feel like you don't believe me. I feel like it's a bit, but I swear it's not a bit.
I'm afraid to engage with anything.
Yeah, like I don't want to get beasted again. Yeah. Popular products. Okay, holy there's shit. Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday cookies and cream cereal.
It's only $10.
Poop like a champion. Highest fiber cereal.
Okay, I could pay $6 to get some Wednesday themed cereal, or for just a few dollars more, I could poop like a champion.
Gosh, why is that my recommended cereal?
It's also. I just want to make. Sorry, I want to make it clear for the listeners. Like, when I say poop like a champion, that's the name of the cereal. It's not like a thing it says on the box.
Yeah, it says Poop Like a Champion Original.
Well, I do want to emphasize that the text on the box, poop is the biggest word. Leica is about the same size as poop, and then champion is significantly smaller than poop Leica. So it's a very weird and jarring box to look at.
And
gosh,
on the
that
one
really threw me off.
Yeah, and the Wednesday one is family size though, so that's nice.
With 2.3
star
review on Target.
How do I actually spell cereal?
Suriel, and I also am gonna look it up now.
I think you might be careful. I think there are potential spoilers.
Oh, okay. So don't look up cereal then.
I'm just looking at images, but this just looks like a person with a weird face. So not a bird as I was imagining.
Yeah, it looks. I imagine kind of like a Wendigo, honestly, when it was described.
Okay, I kind of like that. Anyway, so she sets this trap and comes down to confront this creature. And the Suriel's like, "Hey, you can't go home, because you'll die." And that Tamlin is the High Lord of the Spring Court. Oh, do we have a guest?
Patricio.
Oh no! Did you say Patricio?
Is that it's your
I think we named him Tito.
Yeah, Tito is what we call him in the server, but Patricio is what I used to go by in Spanish class.
That's crazy. There was not a
Alexa walked by with our son. She was showing me a picture of a cereal from her phone because she can show me safe. She can pull up images that show me things without accidentally getting spoiled.
That's handy. Okay, so the Suriel, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, tells Tamlin is the High Lord of the Spring Court actually, so he's kind of in charge of this whole deal here, and that he is even more powerful than she thought. So the Suriel's like, hey, hang around with him, like stay physically close to him, and you'll be safe from the blight. But if you venture out here this far again, there's no telling what's going to happen, which I think checks out to me. And we also learned about our potential bad guy, the King of Highburn. Yeah, the King of Highburn, which is another continent. So they kind of get into a lot of detail here. I'm kind of hoping this guy is not like the immediate antagonist for this first book. It seems like they're kind of like teasing him as kind of the overall baddie, like Moldabort.
Good save.
I covered that up pretty good.
Yeah, really. No one's gonna know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is that a Beauty and the Beast reference?
Yeah, it is actually.
He's sort of the Gaston of this, and so the but yeah, I thought this was interesting that we finally were getting some exposition about some possible bad guys. So the king was also betrayed by someone called the Deceiver. And the king was real angry about the terms of the treaty because he's humans should be slaves forever, which sounds like bad guy talk to me. You know how sometimes someone says something in a movie and you're like, I wonder if he's the bad guy.
Oh yeah. So I think the word slavers are pretty easy tell.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning.
Well,
oh come on.
No, I'm going to say what we learned from our recent D&D campaign is that sometimes you can make a bad guy really, really bad, but people will still want to fuck him.
That's true, and that's going to happen. Yeah, we had a good idea though, which I'm not going to spoil here for how to fix that. Okay, so the other thing I was noting I was remembering was I remember when I saw the first Jurassic World movie, and there's the part where Chris Pratt has his hands out and he's directing the Velociraptors or whatever, and fucking what's his name, Vincent D'Onofrio, is off to the side looking down, and he's like, all animals should be used as weapons, and I was like, I wonder if he's the bad guy. So that's kind of my baseline for figuring out who the bad guy is for stories. Anyway, so there's this person, I guess, named the Deceiver, who betrayed the king, and there's a whole bunch of situation going on there. The king is trapped in his own realm.
Oh,
if I understand correctly. What's up?
The Deceiver is Tamlin, because he was trained to be a warrior, but he said he didn't want to be the High Lord, but he ended up in this position. So that's the whole thing. He was sent here to be a warrior and take over, but he betrayed the guy, and he's the Deceiver. Boom.
Oh.
Story over.
I was wondering if we had met the betrayer
Yeah,
yet.
I was curious if it was him, but I was like, that almost is like, so that feels like it would be boring, so I hope that's not it, is like what I was thinking.
You know who the author is, right?
No, I don't. Okay, so anyway, the Serials like stops talking and is like, uh-oh, someone's here. And he's like, hey, Feyre, why don't you let me out so that I can run away and then leave you here with these bad boys? And she's like, that sounds good to me.
I didn't put that together.
Well, he does say, you better let me out now and then dip yourself, otherwise we're both toast.
Right. But it's like, she didn't really have to let him go, or he could have helped, I don't know. Anyway.
It's her save the cat moment, I guess.
I guess so. Except the cat is like apparently like a skeletal man with a hood.
That existed before the creation of this realm.
Yeah, existed before the creation of the world, which I thought was cool. So, anyway, we are then approached by four Nagas.
Sorry. He existed before the creation of the world, but he can be trapped by a raw chicken and This guy is like ultimate wisdom. He knows about everything that has happened ever. And a fucking raw chicken in
Can you imagine fucking like you put out like a raw chicken in a net and you catch Aslan? Okay. So Feyre is approached by four Naga who are bloodthirsty and they are like, I'm real hungry for human meat. So if anyone doesn't know, Nagas are actually from Hindu mythology. They're an Indian creature. They are, which is probably not surprising considering they are snake people. But they are, demons from Hindu mythology that I remember from our fun stories. And so they are not to be trusted from what I understand. They like to lie. But yeah, they've actually broken out as sort of a pop culture thing into several other things. They're in a lot of the Final Fantasy games, for instance. As enemies, but yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. So pulling in some, cross-culture stuff here. Okay, so yes. So she's like, so this is the thing. I was like, she fires an arrow, right, to try to distract them, and then screams as loud as she can, which I was like, at first I was like, oh, that's great, like, she should be screaming as loud as she can so that, like, Lucian or Tamlin hears her and can come save her. But then she's like, no one will ever hear me. I'm going to scream instead of calling for help. And I was like, is there a difference? I was very confused by this. Okay, no defense for Feyre.
No, I don't know. I got nothing. I rarely have a defense for Feyre.
I just always wonder what Sarah J. Maas is like. Drinking or smoking.
No,
when she tries to put this logic together.
Rosé, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
So anyway, she frees the cereal, and the cereal's like, "I'm gonna get the fuck out of here," and leaves.
Oh yeah, it just dips.
It just dips immediately, which I respect. So she shoots the Naga with an arrow, and then she's like basically no match for them, obviously. She is able to stab one of the creatures with the real knife that she has hidden in her boot now, which is cool. And then thankfully, she's able to... There's a bunch of back and forth, but essentially, she's able to hold on long enough for Tamlin to show up and tear one of them, literally in half. I think he was torn in twain. And the other one's able to... One of them was able to get away, I think.
Yeah, I think one was able to fully bounce.
Right. Which I think might be important later, because it might be like, oh, hey, this guy has killed 3 of our boys. We need to, bring the full might of our, army down on him or whatever. So that may come back later. Maybe not.
I mean, they all know he's there anyways, though, right? So,
Well, I mean, they might be driven by... Not that they know that he's there, but just they're driven by revenge now, rather than just we should kill him, But, it may also not come back, so who knows?
I am curious if all these other monsters know that Tamlin is as powerful as he is, why they feel so, confident enough to just, go onto his estate or whatever.
I think it's because the blight is, making him weaker.
Okay.
And they know that. so they're like
testing him.
They're testing the waters, basically. That's kind of what I got from it. But like, yeah, I think they're hoping that like with time, like they'll be able to take this. I don't know if it's that they want to take the estate as much as I think they might want to kill him. These other creatures, you know, I don't know though. Anyway, so yeah, Tamlin does some magic to heal Feyre. She's been cut quite badly, and Tamlin's like, "What were you doing in the woods?" And she's like, "I don't know." And he's like, "All right, that checks out."
Yeah, he doesn't push it at all. I think it helps that up to this point, he has asked Feyre so many questions, and she like basically never answers him. So he's kind of just like, all right, whatever. This is a losing battle. So that worked out to her advantage, like in this case.
Mm-hmm. So this time she is thankful. At least she's like, "Thank you." She seems internally also like genuinely thankful for the first time. And Feyre remembers that, you know, the Suriel told her like, "Hey, like, don't go looking for more answers, but here's a bunch of answers."
Yeah, basically, like, here's all I'm gonna tell you, but don't go looking for more.
Yeah. Joe, are you here?
Yeah, I was about to chime in that you also forgot that during all of this, Feyre was like super horny after taking a flesh wound.
I did forget that.
I keep meaning to mention the fact that every time she talks about him and his blood, she also comments on his rippling muscles.
God, the way
that's where the blood comes out of
his nipples.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Look, it was in the book.
Yeah, it's done. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. It's done now.
Yeah,
it happened.
It's out there. It's recorded.
Yeah. It's done. Fuck. Okay, so, yeah, he saves her with his rippling muscles. I will tell you one thing that I think I'm having trouble with is that, like, I feel like especially during these action sequences, I'm having a hard time telling when Tamlin is like in man form and when he's like in beast form, and like what parts of him are doing what at what time.
I feel like he's often in man form, but he can like get big.
It seems like he can
out.
just turn. Yeah, I was about to say. It feels like he can turn his arms into like beast arms or whatever without turning fully or whatever.
Because there's always different times where she was like when he was arguing with Lucian, for instance. Like his claws were out when he was getting like angry and arguing with Lucian. So it sounds like he can still be in man form and have like claws coming out of his hands.
Yeah, I think she also said like her entire like shirt was like torn apart and stuff too. So I guess Tamlin's like, you know,
probably
that's kind of the idea. If only we had a Midnight Sun-esque book to tell us for sure.
I was very happy with Sarah J. Maas, like even in this chapter, showing growth as an author. As she described how hot Tamlin's chest was, not just his forearms.
Yeah,
so that, I really appreciated that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we're doing chest now. Well, that's a good thing. And you know, every part of the body is worth celebrating, of course. So I'm sure we'll move over to some other parts in the future.
We do.
Okay. Yeah, I know we do. I've been told. I don't think a spoiler, but like we've been.
Book 2. Yeah,
Rachel has been very like, book 2's got a lot of dick in it, and I'm like, I know. She's like, it's so much.
Yeah, Alexa's been saying the same thing, that like once we get to the later books, it gets way more intense.
I think we should like, I think we should take a shot every time she says like his manliness or something like that.
At least take a note of it. I mean, have a counter for every recording.
A counter, yeah, we'd have a counter.
That reminds me, before I forget, I did take one note throughout this entire series here, that when she was getting attacked by the Naga, this is a legitimate quote from the book, "My bowels turned watery."
Nah, you can't get me. That's from Beauty and the Beast.
You know what she needs? She needs some poop like a champion cereal.
But now, because of this book, I have now told Siri when I was driving my car to text my phone, "My bowels turned watery," so that I could remember to bring it up on this podcast.
Okay, well that's going to affect your ad distribution.
Yeah, I'm going to get only that poop like champion cereal.
Oh my god. Damn it. Okay. Okay, so yeah, basically she's like, okay, I'm gonna take Tamlin up on his offer and have him help me write a letter to my family, let them know I'm okay. And it kind of ends with the fact that Tamlin seemed like he's lost the battle, which makes me leads more credence to my thought about like, because he does mention like they're not supposed to be this close to the estate. So I think it's just like he's realizing his power or his like, you know, whatever is getting weaker, and like other people are noticing, which is I think what's happening.
I think it's an accurate thing here.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else from this chapter here?
One thing I meant to make notes of, but I did not. I guess is the benefit of reading a book versus listening to a book, because it's hard to just like flip back and find reference.
Yeah, that's true.
The big exposition from the serial. I think there's like a lot of. I went back and listened to it twice, but still I don't think I absorbed all of it. Just everything talking about the war and the big bad and all that stuff. I was like, this all seems important. It's a huge exposition dump in a very short amount of time, but I don't know. I guess I'm just curious what the implications of all that will be, and if any of that will actually be important in this book is what I'm kind of curious about.
Okay. In the meantime, I have on Spark Notes, there was a thing on the side where it says take a study break, and the top thing suggested for me was quiz, is this a Taylor Swift lyric or a quote from The Great Gatsby? Which seems kind of similar to what we were doing earlier with Beauty and the Beast.
I took the quiz actually one time.
Oh, you took this quiz?
I took that quiz, yeah. It's actually harder than you would think.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds pretty hard to me. I'm not that familiar with Great Gatsby or Taylor Swift lyrics, so it'd be a crapshoot.
How about this one, if it's Taylor Swift or Edgar Allan Poe, actually? Let's try that one.
That sounds
okay,
equally difficult.
I'm just going to what?
That sounds equally difficult for me, but...
Yeah, I'm going to throw out a few good ones.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I remember it was in the bleak December.
Literally Taylor Swift, I guess?
Taylor Swift.
No, that's Edgar Allan Poe.
Damn.
All right. He looks up, grinning like a devil.
That's Taylor Swift.
That is from Cruel Summer. All my flowers grew back as thorns. Oh, that's good.
That's probably this book.
Do we think is that Edgar? All my flowers grew back as thorns.
Are we just gonna do this quiz for the rest of the podcast?
It's Taylor Swift.
Is Taylor Swift? Okay.
One more. And then the cold came, the dark days when fear crept into my mind.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
No, that was Taylor.
Damn, I'm 0 for 3.
Yeah, that was from Back to December. All right, well, congrats, Taylor, on this, and that really funny tweet from the other day. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. So far, I would say this batch of chapters definitely was more interesting, because it's like we learned some interesting exposition about the world, the different kingdoms, the evil king and like the dark deceiver, and then like some shit actually happened. And like I okay, one thing I wanted to ask, actually, is this her first book?
No, she wrote an entire series of bestsellers before this.
Oh, and interesting.
I'm pretty sure Alexa read the series of books that she wrote before this and said it's not great.
Okay. That's I'm going to not comment on that. Okay, so the fact that she, I don't know. I was just going to say I don't feel like she's got like a mastery over like there's a skill to describing a fight scene, right? Like an action sequence, and I feel like there is something missing in this, where it's like it's hard for me to like tell exactly what's going on where while there's like high intensity action, you know?
Yeah, I mean the fight scene lasted not very long. Like it doesn't seem like it's a focus of this. Maybe that'll change as the books go on, but I feel like that fight scene was over before, like barely after it started.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, that was kind of my first thought. I was like, oh, is this her first book? Maybe she's never done this kind of fight scene before, but like, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I would like but I like these chapters so far. I'm a little bit more aware of the world now, and so I'd be like, okay, like I want to learn a little bit more about this evil king specifically. Like that has piqued my interest. So
yeah. I mean, I think I feel like we've said this multiple times now. I think almost we say this after almost every episode, actually, but it feels like now Feyre is going to start becoming more likable. Like it feels like we constantly have these milestones. We're like, okay, this is a major thing that has happened, and now Feyre will learn from this and grow from this moment, and from this moment on, now I will like Feyre. But
that's called copium, my friend.
Yeah,
oh, that's what I've been huffing.
Huffing that copium. But I mean, honestly, there was this scene in the library where when she was going through the books and she was kind of like just thinking about her captivity, Feyre says like, "I want adventure in the great wide somewhere. Like I want it more than I can tell. And for once, it might be grand to have someone understand that I want so much more than they've got planned." Do you remember that?
Wait, when did that happen in this book?
It was in the library scene. She was just
say that again?
I want adventure in the great wide somewhere. I want it more than I can tell. And for
no, we're gonna get beasted. We're getting beasted.
Fuck, I got.
That my first thought as you were saying that was, that's a Taylor Swift lyric, and I was like, no, wait, that's Beauty and the Beast.
Damn.
Okay. That was way too close for comfort.
I will tell myself I was going to be 3 for 3 on being beasted.
Oh man, Nerv, you had to spoil it.
You saved me from the curse. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Tune in next week or 2 weeks from now to see if I turn into the beast and fall for 3 in a single episode.
Very good. All right, that sounds good. So yeah, let's roll out of here. Maybe not starting now, but in a little bit, we are going to be starting some bonus episodes on alternating weeks, which I have titled YA Apocalypse. Jess and I thought of, and just like kind of every so often poking into like an old, maybe not even old, but like a a young adult novel from when people our age were in middle school, high school, etc. Kind of deep diving into that book and sort of reminiscing about it, but also talking about like the impact on like culture, legacy, and stuff. So we are definitely going to do some of the big hitters, like obviously like the Hunger Games and like Twilight and stuff like that. We're going to do the Mortal Instruments books. Jess is very excited to talk about those. But yeah, I know Joe is signed on to do Twilight with us. He's very excited.
I'm very excited.
Ironically or unironically?
Yes.
Unironically, I'm legitimately excited because also this book just gave the perfect opportunity for Tamlin / Tamriel to ask Feyre, "You know what I am? Say it. You're a High Lord."
Have you read the Twilight books or have you only watched the movies multiple times?
I think I read a few. I know I read the first one. I'm pretty sure I read a couple of them in like middle school, and then I have thoroughly enjoyed the movies.
I have read all of the books one time each, exactly, and then I have seen the movies probably more than once each.
That's incredible.
I will be re-listening to and rewatching the books and the movies to prepare because they're great.
That is dedication. I will be doing none of these things. I don't think I'm featured on any of these upcoming bonus episodes because I can barely even handle listening to this one book. But
yeah, no. If you don't have to reread it. I tried to make that clear to everybody. We'll be okay. You don't need to reread these books to be on these. But yeah, anyway, keep an eye and an ear out for those. So we'll be trying to get a little bit more stuff. Those will probably be more sporadic, like not on a direct schedule or anything. But yeah, they'll be appearing. So anyway, we will. I guess with that, we'll get out of here. Did we have another thing we were gonna do with a catchphrase or whatever?
No, I think "keep on trucking" is good. It fits.
Yeah, all right. Well, until sorry, I know you could like hear like my soul just leaving my body with that. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, make sure to keep an eye out. Oh, also, yeah, rate and review us on the iTunes store or Spotify. Like, you do have to listen to I think 3 episodes of the show to some degree to like do a rating. But yeah, please throw those out there. And we'll keep an eye out, and like I said, we'll give you a shout out on here if you drop us a good review, and actually we'll give you another kind of shout out if you give us a bad review.
A threat?
Okay.
We will dox you if you give us a bad review.
I would think of it more like a promise.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, thanks guys for joining us, and we will see you in 2 weeks, and until then, keep on trucking.
and support your local bookstores.
Yeah, keep on beasting.